Hi there, guys. We're going to be starting something new today. It's called the Secret Turnabout. And so, for context, I'm in the middle right now of recording my Turnabout in the Lighthouse of Lunacy Let's Play. Part 19 is the latest part I've recorded, and unfortunately, it's down right now. There seems to be problems with it. Seems to be issues. I was all set to record the next episode of that, and considering where part 19 left off, I was really looking forward to it. But I have to put that on hold right now. I don't know when I'll be putting this episode out, but depending on how long the Imgur issue goes on for, this might be coming out in place of Turnabout the Lighthouse of Lunacy video if I don't have enough of a backlog to last. But I've recorded a fair few in advance, so I should do. If not, then I'll be recording this a while before I get back to it. But, you know, the Secret Turnabout, I picked this case because it's consistently ranked as one of the best cases. And I've never played it. I don't know anything about this case, so I'm going in completely blind, other than the brief synopsis. So, without further ado, let's get started with Act 1 of the Secret Turnabout. You're welcome. October 13th, 1:02 p.m. Right ending agency. Hey, Thena, guess what time it is? Huh? I'm guessing 1 o'clock? Oh, come on, don't play dumb. I swear I don't know what's going on. A convenient excuse if I do say so myself. Look, I swear, I seriously don't know, not to be rude or anything, but what's with the getter? Oh, this old thing? I just didn't feel like wearing a suit today, so I just put on what's comfortable. Okay, but 5 o'clock shadow? So I didn't shave today. Sue me. Ay caramba. Any other basic hygienics you skipped out on that I should know? Take a shower. No, widget. Come on, let the man grow a bit of stubble. It's better to let it grow, I say. I just choose to ignore that. So, what's everyone so excited about today exactly? What, other than your favorite day of the week? My favorite? Wait. No, don't tell me. Yep, it's cleaning day. No! The horror. Come on, Thena, we've got to get this place ready in time for Halloween. What will the kids think if they come here and this place isn't properly spooked up? All because some lazy bones didn't help clean up in time. Why would any kids come to a law office? Well, we don't just do law, you know. Come on, Dana. We all have to do our parts. Yeah, but my part got significantly harder since Apollo left. Come on, you can start easy with these old case files over there. Fine. Atta girl. Go get him. Yeah. Let's see here. This one's about the Mad Timber case. This one's about the magic show that went wrong. Huh? What's this one? Hey guys, why is this one just labeled Gambit? Trucy? What's with that look? Boss, what's wrong with... Okay, now this is just getting more creepy. I think you should just leave that one alone, Athena. Huh? Why? What's wrong with this one? That case is the byproduct of a failed experiment. An experiment that I'd rather not drag you into. Well, now I just have to know. What's the harm in telling me, huh? You can trust me with it. Daddy, I don't think we can hide it from her. She has to learn at some point what happened. Maybe. But don't they often say ignorance is bliss? Maybe so. I mean, I also wasn't supposed to know at first. Ouch, Delilah, what's the big deal behind this case? I'm a big girl, I can take it. Oh, you can take it? You say you can take it, huh? Are you sure you can take it? Yes, I can take it. Oh, fine. I suppose I can loosen my lips about it. This, Athena, is a very special tale. A case that Apollo got caught up in. A tale about an experiment called the jurist system, and how it was destroyed by one young up-and-coming lawyer named Aiden Gambit. Yeah, this is, if you've been watching my Turnabout in the Lighthouse of Lunacy playthrough, or it might have already been completed by the time this video goes up, the Broken Commandments competition, which seemed to produce a lot of really good cases. Our tale begins long ago, when Apollo was still a greenhorn. The jurist system was still in testing. It just needed one more push. The opportunity it got to prove itself ended up coming from a rather unexpected place, when one fateful day, a prosecutor, of all people, was charged with larceny. At first, the trial was uneventful, dull even. What nobody expected was the events that would happen during the trial's second day. Events that would cause the jury system to rise to the occasion once more. 2 years ago. My attorney's badge which shows I'm a lawyer. I don't really have anywhere to put it on my vest, so I keep it in my pocket. No proof else yet. January 16th, 8:49 AM. Defendant lobby number 3. I think I made it. I just hope my client isn't too angry. It took you long enough. This guy. What took you so long, Mr. Gambit? Court starts in 10 minutes. I was concerned that you weren't coming. Hey, cool it with the shouting. I'm here, aren't I? No, I'm wishing I didn't go. Cutting it a bit close, don't you think? Hey, delays were inevitable, alright? I kind of slept through my alarm. Can you really blame me with how much work I've put into this case? I suppose not. Trust me, this will be worth it in the end. I should very much hope so. Even with yesterday's stunning performance, I still worry. Hey, no, don't sweat it. I'm a pro, alright? Aiden Gambit doesn't take a fight he can't win, and he won't start now. Well, I suppose introductions are in order. My name is Aiden Gambit. I'm a practicing defense attorney. Despite how new I am, I've become something of a rising star as of late. Thanks to a few lucky wins, I've amassed something of a fan base. It's a long story. As for today's trial, this man is Manny Steele. He's a prosecutor, of all things. He's been accused of larceny. The item he's been accused of stealing? Case files belonging to the chief prosecutor's office, along with some other valuables, although the files were the most important item. He was arrested when stolen files and valuables were found in his office. Yesterday's trial was a bit of a doozy. The prosecution used security camera footage to pin the blame on him. He claimed that they proved only the defendant had the opportunity. They also relied on the testimony of a security guard to place him at the scene. However, I was able to discredit her by calling her memory into question. It is kind of interesting. We're going in straight into the second day, which is when Phoenix said it is when it got crazy. The first day was kind of uneventful and dull. So we're going straight into the action, baby. That was enough to buy me another day of investigation. Well then, would you mind telling me what the plan for today is? Alright, here goes. I decided to shift gears a bit. I think the best chance we have of getting you off the hook is to present the case around the evidence the prosecution overlooked. Specifically, I was thinking about revealing the true nature of that remote found at the scene. The remote? Yes, the one that has the markings of Vera mission. remote revealed in court record. So he has the evidence, and we just need to, you know, it needs to be revealed to us, the player. And weird how it flash on the screen like this. This is what it does in their games as well, but not all of the fan games do this. This is sort of an optional thing. Just pop on the screen. It's cool. A strange remote that was found to see the crime by police. It doesn't seem to have a purpose. Bears the mark of forgery of our mission. And that's interesting as well, because in the Apollo Justice case for Flashback, so the Turnabout succession Flashback, when Drew Mission gets called to the stand during Phoenix's last trial, he's like, the diary page? Oh, it's definitely a forgery. I have my own special mark just to make sure nothing like this can happen. And so this mark is somewhere on this remote as well. I went to confront her about possibly getting her to testify about the button's true nature. She made it for the motorized pulley that she was paid to create days before the crime. Though, she still has no clue what it was used for. The motorized pulley? But what if the prosecution says it's not related? You have to worry. I already have a plan for that. Another thing created by Vera Mission. Use the motor to use a rope as a pulley. It works by using a remote control. I thought perhaps that there might be more evidence that they overlooked. I went back to the chief prosecutor's office, and sure enough, what did I find? Scratch marks right on the window near the lock. Your window also had similar marks, by the way. Wait, are you actually going to make the claim that the culprit entered from outside the building? Yes. Strange marks found in the window at the scene of the crime and a lock. Similar scratches were found at the defendant's office window. No, you can't. There's no way you can pull that off. The prosecution just got asking questions you might not be able to answer. Such as who can even pull such a feat off? How would you answer that? I think we both know the answer to that. It has to be the same person who sent you that blackmail letter. You would actually present that, will you? What if they think it's forged? We have overwhelming evidence of a third party, Mr. Steele. They'll have to accept it. I typed letters into the defendant, making him follow the orders of someone called Spirit of Seething. Check for more details. To the one who saved my life, your noble action is mired by a shameful career. While you may have kept my body safe, your actions have forever tainted my soul. I'm prompted to reveal the entire truth from that case 13 years ago, and unless you want your involvement known, do as I say. Keep this letter with you and don't tell a soul. Further instructions will be sent bearing the same signature, signed the Spirit of Seething. That's pretty fucked up. You save someone's life and then they blackmail you. Yeah, this is a risky game you're playing, Mr. Gambit. I've been playing a risky game ever since I got my name. Ever since this case started, Mr. Steele. I think that just about wraps it up. I'm still not sure about this. Hey, take it easy. Everything will go according to plan. Well, alright. I've already put my faith in you as it is. I wish you success, Mr. Gambit. Good luck. It's time to bring this trial to a close. There's a dark secret behind this case, but it will soon be revealed. Everything in this case will go how I want. I'll make sure of it. Courtroom number 3. Court is now in session for the trial of Manny Steele. Oh, who else could it be but me? The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready as well, Your Honor. That is not how I was expecting it to look. That's interesting design. Might have to, because I didn't know what voice to give him, so I'll just do it in a normal voice. I might change his voice. I'll just leave it the same, I think. Very good. Then we may proceed right away.
First, a recap of yesterday's events. Yesterday's witness testified that she had unlocked a certain door for the defendant. They claimed the defendant lied to her about losing his keys and used her to enter the office of the chief prosecutor. However, the defense's cross-examination yesterday proved otherwise, and it was revealed that the security guard actually opened the defendant's door. Thus, with no perceivable way for the defendant to enter the crime scene, it was deemed further investigation would be required. I now ask the prosecution for their findings into this puzzling matter. Did you manage to find an alternate route for the culprit to enter through?
Oh, you see, Your Honor, the prosecution found no other possible point of entry. We assert that the security guard was simply confused, which he testified yesterday.
So that means the detectives didn't check the window. And it always feels nice to be one step ahead of them, as per usual.
While the defense may have risen some minimal doubt, the facts of this case remain pretty clear. Ooh, the stolen files and valuables were found in his office, and he was caught on camera. The prosecution is also prepared to show the defendant had a very compelling motive.
I feel I must now ask for the defense's stance on the matter at hand. How do you respond to these allegations by the prosecution?
Alright, here goes nothing. Your Honor, if you please. The defense is prepared to prove that not only was there an entrance, we are also prepared to show the existence of a third party.
Oh, words from a rookie attorney? I wonder if you'll be able to keep that smug look for much longer.
Oh please, at least I've won a few cases in recent history.
Very well, if that will be all, the prosecution may now call its first witness to the stand.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the record.
Miles Edgeworth, Chief Prosecutor.
My word, it's been a while since I've seen you in my court, Mr. Edgeworth. What an honour it is to have you standing here now that you are Chief Prosecutor.
I don't think it should be much of a surprise that I am testifying, Your Honor. It was my office where the crime occurred.
Oh yes, I suppose that's true. Even so, seeing you here fills my heart with nostalgia.
Great, so the judge and the victim are all buddy-buddy. Think nothing of our past or my position, Your Honor. I'm here today as a humble witness, nothing more.
Yes, you're quite right.
No. Don't stop being biased on my account. In any event, there's a specific reason I've been called to testify today. Mr. Payne, if you could please explain to the court what that reason is?
Of course! Anything for our Chief Prosecutor!
I'm your boss. You will call me sir. Jeez, what a kiss-up.
As we know, the defendant is accused of illegally entering and pilfering from Mr. Edgeworth. However, there is one fact of which this court has not yet been made aware. For you see, the defendant had actually attempted to steal the documents before. Objection!
Hold on. What's this about a first attempt? I've heard nothing about this.
Oh, you didn't know? Did your client not tell you? It just so happens that on the same date the case files were missing. The defendant had confronted our dear Chief Prosecutor and tried to take them by force.
Oh, you didn't bring that up on the first day. He what?
Order! Order in the court! Mr. Edgeworth, is this true? The defendant, he had already attempted theft earlier that day?
I'm afraid so, Your Honor.
But then, in that case, Rose is not brought to light yesterday.
Your Honor, I'm still at fault for this mistake. The Chief Prosecutor, he is a very busy man, you see. I didn't want to call him as a witness, as was absolutely necessary. And I correctly assumed that yesterday's testimony would be enough to end the trial.
Oh, that voice is killing. But I do really want to do it. because Payne does deserve that voice.
I understand not wanting to bother someone of great importance, Mr. Payne, but surely he is not so busy that he cannot appear as a witness in court.
Well, it's so simple, Your Honour. Unfortunately, there was a recent trial that involved a friend of mine, the results of which have caused a massive shake-up at the prosecutor's office. I spent nearly 2 months dealing with the after effects. 2 months? I can't even imagine what could have caused something like that.
In any case, Mr. Edgeworth's testimony was only to be shared with the court. Under very dire circumstances.
I see.
In any case, Your Honour, let's consider the facts. On the day of the crime, the defendant tried to steal files from the chief prosecutor. He was, however, unsuccessful in his attempts. It only then made sense that he would try to do so again. Surely you agree that the defendant must be the culprit of this crime.
I must confess, given the current circumstances, the defendant does look rather suspicious.
Great. Just great. The guiltier he looks, the less chance I have of getting this trial to where I need it.
Very well, this court shall hear from the witness. Mr. Edgeworth, please testify to the court about the encounter that day between you and your the defendant.
Of course, Your Honour. Attempted theft. Late in the evening on the night in question, the defendant barged into my office. He demanded that I reopen a certain case he prosecuted 13 years ago. He expressed anxiety and remorse over losing that case so long ago. He felt as though it was his responsibility to find justice for the involved parties. Unfortunately, I wasn't, and I'm still not, at liberty to reopen the case anytime soon. When I told him this, he made a reckless dash to steal the files from off of my shelves. I was able to take back the files from him before promptly having him escorted out.
I see. I'm curious as to what is so special about this case that the defendant needed so desperately to have it reopened. Sadly, due to the confidential nature of the case files, we were not allowed to enter them into the court record.
It matters not, Your Honour. For the purposes of this trial, all we need to know is that the defendant stole confidential files. What those files actually contained is irrelevant.
Objection!
I think not, Mr. Payne. This entire case revolves around the stolen files. The case must be important. Oh.
Objection!
You have quite a lot to learn, kid. Quite a lot indeed. Seems like the audio file might have glitched out for that one.
Let me ask you, Rookie, what could possibly be gained by taking through old files? All that matters about that case is that the fellow was overly sentimental about it.
I must say, Mr. Payne, your reputation does precede you. Where there are forests, you only see trees.
Ah! Oh!
It is true, the connection between this case and the case in the stolen files is merely a loose connection at this point. The only thing connecting them so far is the defendant. However, a loose connection is still a connection. Precisely.
Here are this court's thoughts on the issue. The matter at hand is the larceny for which the defendant has been accused. As such, that takes precedence first and foremost. However, as the items stolen include a case file, for which the prosecution is claiming that the defendant's main motive for the crime is based around, I must conclude that said case is not entirely irrelevant to this trial. As such, I will allow questions about this previous case when it is relevant.
Gambit 1, Payne 0. I cannot promise that I can reveal certain information if it's too confidential. However, I will try my best to answer what I can. This is post-investigations, Edgeworth. He is absolutely based. Understood. I know where I want to go with this trial. It's just a matter of getting there. I need a quick drink because the Payne voice was quite... Yeah, if you can't tell, my voice is getting a bit warm by it, but I'll get used to it. Hold it! Late in the evening, you say? Can you give an estimate of when exactly this was? If I had to wager a guess, I believe that this particular event occurred around 8 o'clock in the evening.
Well, it is rather late. I do hope you haven't been working yourself too hard, Mr. Edgeworth. As Chief Prosecutor, I can be called in at any time. I won't allow my duties to be unattended to, just because the hours can sometimes be inconvenient.
Methinks someone needs a hobby. In any case, you see the defendant barged in. Would I be correct in assuming that means he was uninvited to your office? That is one way of putting it, I suppose. Though, another way would be saying that he nearly kicked the door down. Not gonna lie, I actually would have liked to see that.
Ha 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 ha! Such a reckless action indeed! Such a one-ton property damage is not befitting of a prosecutor! Would our dear Chief Prosecutor not agree?
This is a trial for larceny, Mr. Payne, not vandalism. That said, I shall be sending the bill to his address soon enough. Assuming he doesn't go to jail, of course.
In any event, what's important is that the defendant came into the office uninvited. Mr. Edgeworth, please testify about the actions the defendant took after entering the office.
13 years to reopen a case, that's quite a long time. Are you guys always that slow at reopening cases? I would appreciate it if the defense refrained from such jobs.
Duly noted. The defense will refrain from such biting sarcasm towards this witness.
I'm never allowed to get away with anything. In any case, is there any particular reason why the defendant decided that now of all times was his chance to reopen the case? I believe I'm partially at fault for that. The Chief of Police and I have been in contact about reopening old cases as of late. Reopening old cases? What caused the sudden decision? Actually, a certain case that this court tried not too long ago is what spurred the decision.
I wonder if that case...
It is exactly the one you are thinking of, Your Honor. The trial of Vera Mission.
Water! Water!
Ah yes, I do remember the Mission case quite well. That was the first implementation of the new justice system, was it not?
Indeed, and that's part of what made it so important. Actually, I had a hand in helping a friend of mine kickstart the system. Its successful implementation in the Mission trial is actually quite important on my end, since it's what led to my recent appointment as Chief Prosecutor. Even so, it is still in testing, hence some trials still use the bench system. Trials, such as this very one. But you said the Mission trial was also the reason for the reopening of many cases? That it was. As is well known by now, the defendant of that trial ran a very particular business. Evidence forging.
Correct! If you can believe it, the great fake himself, Phoenix Wright, is not alone in his pursuit. We to rid these courts for the integrity they had left.
But wasn't he proven innocent? In any case, Vera Mission was allowed to walk free on one condition. That she work with the police to uncover the truth of her past forgeries. The results were startling. She revealed the true extent of just how many clients she had in this business. I was not aware just of how far the corruption went in the courts before then. Many well-respected attorneys, prosecutors and defense attorneys alike, were outed as nothing more than frauds.
Disgraceful! Why, if my old brother engaged in such behaviour? I have no choice but to disown him.
Well, in any event, I took it upon myself to try and rid the corruption from our courts, starting with reopening cases related to the missions. So it now all comes full circle. Now we know why you've been reopening cases as of late. Which is likely why Mr. Steele thought he could convince me to reopen one particular case. However, I don't think he expected me to decline his request. Despite my distaste of forges. My hands were tied on this one. That's interesting. I remember reading that you once had a reputation for using forged evidence yourself. Ugh. I prefer that the defense refrain from reminding me of bad memories, for matters of which they know nothing about.
I believe the line of questioning has run its course. The heart of the matter is that Mr. Edgeworth had been reopening cases which led the defendant to feel as though they could request a certain case to be reopened. Did the defendant specify any reason as to why he wanted this case reopened?
Anxiety over losing a case? Why? I mean, I don't mean to brag, but if he's anything like the pushovers I've faced, then he must lose a lot of cases. Your arrogance and your casual disrespect for your own client are duly noted, Mr. Gambit.
Rookies always get so big-headed, so they have to be taught their place.
The youth are showing less and less respect for their elders by the minute, it seems.
Let's take a look at the profiles actually. So Manny Steele is 43. So when he was on that case, he would have been 30 years old. The defendant in this case, the prosecutor accused of stealing some case files from the chief's office. Bit of a sad sack. Winston Payne, 62. Prosecutor in this case, despite his experience, he doesn't have much presence. Bit of a pushover. The victim of larceny in this case and the recently appointed chief prosecutor apparently aims to deal with the corruption in the prosecutor's office. Barry Misham, an artist with a history of forging evidence, creating things with dubious folks, has been working with the police to make up for her past transgressions. So you have 3 prosecutors and 1 forger in the profiles. I get it. Getting back on topic, it's actually not uncommon for attorneys to be haunted by certain cases in their careers. If said case is particularly troubling. The details about this particular case certainly left him with a few ghosts to haunt him. Ghosts, you say? What kind of ghosts are we talking about? Please explain.
Objection! Ha! Don't tell me our confidential rookie believes in ghosts! It's just a metaphor, kid!
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Oi! Ghosts aren't real!
Indeed, troubling that you don't know that, Mr. Gambit.
Hang on, I know that. Or do I? I was just asking to clarify what made the case so haunting.
Interesting choice of words for someone who doesn't believe in ghosts.
Oh, shut up. Well, I'm obviously not allowed to go into too much detail. However, I can give some info about the horrors that went on in this case. The case was a murder, potentially an assassination. Without a deeper connection established between this case and the one in the files, I cannot divulge how exactly the victims died. However, I will say that the scene itself was truly a horrifying sight to behold. Even just looking at pictures can make one's stomach turn.
I didn't even know the details, so I could hardly stomach it.
They're confidential, but you can find them all over Instagram for some reason. On top of that, there were also allegations of forged evidence. Naturally, this led to speculation that the defendant was actually guilty. And the acquittal was undeserved.
Just like those defendants today, it's a lie and cheat. That's why it's up to those prosecutors to teach them some humility.
If you can believe it, Mr. Payne, it gets even worse. There was a key witness who was vital in the court proceedings. This witness was nearly assassinated.
What? Not we.
Order! Order! Order in the court! Indeed, I can see why this particular case would be so troubling.
Who? Who would do something so horrible? To cause part to assassinate a witness?
Who indeed? Thankfully, Mr. Steele had caught on quick to the assassination attempt, and he managed to save the witness from the almost certain doom. If not for his actions, they would have been another victim in this tragedy. To the one who saved my life, your actions have forever tainted my soul.
A truly horrible case indeed. I would be rather unsettled if I had to preside over it, I think.
Regardless, this case has left many scars for those involved.
I can see why! Though, I am curious why the defendant has yet to comment on this information. Mr Gambit, are you quite alright?
Sorry, Your Honor. I'm just imagining what it must have been like.
Clearly this line of questioning is bothering the defence. Perhaps it is best that we continue forward with the cross-examination and leave these disturbing questions behind us.
Who exactly was involved in the case 13 years ago? Well, if you don't mind me asking, of course. Well, I can't name very many names, of course. I can, however, give a brief overview. Of course, there will be plenty. There were 2 victims in the case, 1 man and 1 woman. They were actually husband and wife, right up until their untimely demise.
Oh my! A happy couple being murdered in cold blood. How very tragic.
How was the tragedy ended there? However, this married couple was not actually alone. The 2 actually had a young son, about 9 years old when it happened. 9 years old 13 years ago would make them 22. There's no one 22 in the court record yet. And their son saw the entire murder.
That's horrific! To be so young and have to witness something so traumatizing.
Yeah, right. The prosecution for this case, Mr. Steele, relied on the child's testimony for the conviction.
That's quite a lot of pressure to put on someone so young.
However, some of the evidence did not line up with the child's testimony. Because of that, the defense was able to argue that the child's memory was faulty. So that's where the forgeries paths come in. Due to the stress of trying to remember the horrific events and being on the stand. With the child's testimony discredited, the defendant was exonerated. Tut tut! A shame the rookie killer wasn't there! I would have gone to the bottom of that case in no time at all! With all due respect, Mr. Rookie Killer, you would have had no chance at all. The defense attorney on the case was none other than one Corey Rupture. Wah! The Corey Rupture? The one and only. I trust it's a name you all know. Corey Rupture. That's one name I will never forget. Who is he again? He's a high-profile educator who is known for defending high-profile individuals. There have been allegations of forged evidence thrown at him all over the place. However, the power of money is a powerful thing and always makes his problems disappear. Well, not today they won't. As I've said, it's just a matter of playing out this trial. It's the point where I need it to be. Then, this case will finally come to light. We don't know how old we are yet. If Aiden Gambit is 22, he could be the child who's grown up now. And he could have sent this letter and he's like, well, of course I'm going to present. And, you know, it says, don't tell us all, but obviously you can tell the person who is blackmailing you because they already know.
But until we know Aiden Gambit's
Age, it's just a theory, a game theory.
I believe this thoroughly summarizes the involved parties in the previous case. Mr. Edgeworth, please continue with your testimony.
And I would explain why Aiden Gambit was so disturbed earlier. Although, you'd think Edgeworth would, you know, recognise the fact he's talking to that kid. Unless he sort of changed his name, maybe. You're not at liberty to reopen the case. He does look a little young. Would you care to explain what prevents you from revealing more details? Unfortunately. And that information is confidential. But this could be integral to the truth behind this case. It could change everything we think we know. Objection! Ha! Where's your proof? Confidential means confidential, rookie? Unless you have evidence this is relevant. Wee! I suggest you give up this pointless line of questioning. Well...
Prosecution is quite right. Does the defense have any proof that would connect this case to the previous one?
No, Your Honor.
I'm afraid your arguments do not hold water. I must ask that you do not continue to badger the witness about this matter.
But I already know the answer to this. Evidence is everything in court, Mr. Gambit. The most I can tell about why this case is confidential is because it involves some very powerful individuals. However, I can say with confidence that they are not involved in the larceny. Those involved with the previous case all have airtight alibis.
Oh, I assume, except for money steal?
Precisely.
I don't like hearing of outside actors trying to influence our courts. However, I must rule that we need conclusive evidence for this to be relevant.
Evidence that I don't have.
Well, let's get back to the matter at hand. Mr. Edgeworth, you told the defendant that you were not at liberty to reopen the case.
Correct.
How did the defendant react to his request being rejected?
The defendant suddenly tried to take the files by force. No offense, but are we talking about the same guy? And what do you mean by that exactly? Well, the impression I get of the defendant is someone quite timid. Hardly the type to go and try reckless things that can get him in trouble, no?
Objection! Tisk tisk! A pathetic excuse for argument. You can't scrutinise this testimony based off of the defence's poor judge of character alone. Oh, if the defence would prefer, perhaps we could hear straight from the horse's mouth.
You mean, ask Mr. Steele himself about this issue?
I believe there's merit in asking Mr. Steele about this matter. Well, defendant, is Mr. Edgeworth's testimony the truth?
Well... It's okay, Mr. Steele. Just answer honestly. I admit it. I did try and take the files from his shelves. See, he could just be doing what he says because, you know, it's his lawyer. But it could be because he's also blackmailing him.
Whee! There you have it!
Order in the court! These are some very serious allegations, don't you, a confessing defendant? I'm sorry, I don't know what got into me. I haven't slept well at all for these past 13 years. I feel like everywhere I turn, I'm reminded of my failure as a prosecutor. So when I was denied by one chance to finally solve that case once and for all, I just sort of lost it. I see.
I understand you have your reasons for what you did, Mr. Steele. Even so, such behaviour must be strictly punished.
Indeed. Regardless of motivations, your actions are inexcusable as a prosecutor, Mr. Steele. I understand, Your Honour, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. When this is all over, I'll turn in my prosecutor's badge.
I almost kind of feel sorry for this guy. Regardless, the defendant did not actually succeed in stealing the files. The defense maintains the attempted theft is irrelevant to this case.
Objection! Mustn't forget that the stolen files were found in the defendant's office. I think it's pretty clear who the guilty party is.
Objection? I swear I didn't actually take the case files. I just went back to my office as soon as I could.
Objection! After you just attempted to steal it from the chief prosecutor? Has to be the biggest bold-faced lie I've ever seen! That's enough, Mr. Payne. I will have you accusing my client of lying without proof.
Order! Order! The defense and prosecution will calm down, understood?
Yes, Your Honor. Understood, Your Honor.
In any event, the main point is that the defendant has admitted what I have said is the truth. Mr. Steele did try and take the files from me by force on that fateful night. I'm curious about something, Mr. Edgeworth. Did you see Mr. Steele again that night? I can confidently say that I did not. After having Mr. Steele escorted from my office, he did not return for my entire duration there. That said, I did not stay long after that, only for 30 more minutes. It was only when I came to my office the next morning that I had noticed that I had been robbed. Then that begs the question, when did you enter your office that morning?
Objection! What does it matter when the witness entered his office? Once the valuables were missing, and I was discovered in the defendant's office.
That's not going to work, Mr. Payne. The clear timeline of events to truly understand the nature of this crime. By that, right?
I must confess that I, too, am having trouble seeing the relevance of this question. That said, the defense does have a valid point that having a clear timeline would help matters. Therefore, I will allow this question.
Very well. If you must know, I believe I first entered the office at around 10 o'clock in the morning. In other words, there was a huge gap of time between when the witness was in his office.
Objection! So what? All you've done is prove that there was a time when the defendant could have done it. As it stands, we've learned nothing by asking this question.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Payne. I already know how this crime happened. I have the evidence to back up my claims. Everything I've done is to get the trial to a certain point. When that happens, everything will have been all worth it. So to get the court to see it too.
I must confess I do not see what has changed with this question. But I don't see how this helps your case, Mr. Gambit.
You will, Your Honor. Once I'm able to present relevant evidence, it will all become clear.
That's enough! I believe this cross-examination has given us a bountiful wealth of information, both for the defendant's attempted theft and the case 13 years ago. Let us now summarize the information we have learned.
Of course, Your Honor!
Yes, Your Honor. Time for my chance to set my plan in motion. 13 years ago, the defendant found himself prosecuting a very particular trial. It was a murder trial. The victims were two young parents who had a child. This murder, thought to have been an assassination, was witnessed by this child, who then became a target of another attempted assassination.
However, Mr. Steele managed to catch onto this assassination plot, and he saved this child from certain doom. He was, however, able to secure a guilty verdict.
The cause of the defense made by Corey Rupture.
Precisely. I was stuck with Mr. Steele for 13 long years. Until I could bear the pain no longer. Ha! Get it? Pain? Ha! I found himself in the office of the chief prosecutor. Whee! Yet despite his pleas, Mr. Edgeworth refused to reopen the case. And with no other choice, the defendant attempted to snap the documents and leave.
However, he failed. Mr. Edgeworth took the files back and had Mr. Steele escorted from his office. This happened at roughly around 8 o'clock at night. 30 minutes later, Mr. Edgeworth left his office and went home, only to discover that the files had gone missing at 10 o'clock the next day. This leaves a gap of 13 and a half hours for anyone to commit the crime. Under these circumstances, just about anybody could have pulled this crime off.
Objection! Let's not forget, Rookie. The valuables were found in the defendant's office. I could possibly point towards the defendant being the thief.
Let's also not forget, Mr. Payne, that 13 hours is hardly an inconsiderable amount of time. Anyone could have stuck into his office and planted the valuables in there. Objection! That's a pretty big claim to make without any evidence, kid. I hope you're at least willing to back your words up with proof.
Indeed. Where's your proof of the third party, Mr. Gambit?
My ultimate plan is to get very much on the stand to testify. But the only way to do that is to prove the existence of a third party. I'm trying to make my arguments count. The proof, Your Honor, is the very details of the crime itself.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Gambit, but I'm not sure I understand what it is you're trying to say.
We'll take into consideration all the details of the crime we've heard. There is a redundancy that is yet to be truly addressed. One that points towards the possibility of a third party.
A redundancy in the facts, you say? This should prove to be interesting. Very well then, Mr. Gambit.
I'll hear what you have to say on the matter.
What is this redundancy in the facts? This points to a possible third party.
The location of the crime, the stolen valuables. Location of the crime, stolen valuables. What about the stolen valuables? Your Honor, there's a certain word that's been used in this court quite a bit. A word used to describe the objects that disappeared from Mr. Edrios' office.
Certain word?
Valuables, Your Honor. As has been established, the ferals were not the only thing that was stolen from the office. Indeed, various knickknacks were stolen from my coffee table as well, including some Steel Samurai memorabilia. I'll get you for this, you bastard! All the stolen objects were found in the defendant's office. But it's strange, no? All we've heard about is the defendant's motive to steal the case files. What possible reason would the defendant have to steal the other items in question? Objection! The real answer is who cares? All that matters is they were found in the defendant's office, no?
Objection!
Mr. Payne, you're being mightily unperceptive right now. It is precisely the fact that they were found in the defendant's office that creates this oddity. The defendant only had a motive to steal the case files, nothing else. Mr. Gambit, I understand what you are trying to say. I'm afraid there is a hole in your reasoning. See, this redundancy is proof of a possible third party. It's true that the defendant had no motive to steal the other valuables. However, we assume that the potential third party has the motive to steal all of the valuables that were missing from my office on the night in question. Where would they then leave the valuables in the office of the defendant?
Researcher does indeed make a good point.
Does the defendant have an explanation for this? Your Honor, I believe the answer to that lies at the heart of the true culprit's real motive.
Which could be
To frame my client. The real purpose of the larceny was never to get away with any of the valuables. It's all a ploy to get my client convicted of a crime.
Order! Order! Mr. Gambit, you're saying the real motive was to frame the defendant for larceny? Who would do such a thing?
The answer to that, Your Honor, lies with the 13-year-old case. And this one connected to that case would have a reason to frame my client. The defendant claims that the third party was someone involved in the case 13 years ago. I'm afraid I cannot let you continue further with that line of reasoning. What? Do you not recall what I said earlier in my testimony? Everyone involved in that case was an airtight alibi. Except for me. What was that? Nothing. Do you not think I'm suspicious of them as well? Everyone related to the oldest assassination case is out of the question. There's only one man credited to that case with the means, motive, and opportunity, and that man is Manny Steele. Ugh. Ah!
Order! 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 What the hell was that noise? It seems, in the end, the defense was unable to substantiate their claim of the third party. Unfortunately, I can't allow the defense to continue on with this line of reasoning.
No, I can't give up. can't find a way to get Vera on the stand. Hang on. I do have an option. I didn't want to play this card, but I have no choice now. Mr. Edgeworth. This mentions 13 years ago, yeah. Yes, have you anything more to add? You say there's nobody from the assassination case that is involved in this one. I would like you to add that to your testimony. And this is my last chance to prove that the third party was involved. This is all to get Vera on the stand to testify. That is the goal I must set my sights on, at any cost. If he is the child, and he wants to prove that evidence was forged in that case 13 years ago, getting Vera Mish onto the witness stand would be a way of doing it. As far as I'm aware, no one related to the assassination is connected to the larceny. How can you know that for certain? Doesn't the possibility exist you may have overlooked something in your investigation?
Objection! Tisk, Rookie. I believe we've proved this before, haven't we? There are fundamental rules which our laws abide. The biggest one of all is one you seem to be forgetting most of all. Would our chief prosecutor like to do the honors?
Evidence is everything in court. Without this rule, we could back and forth forever about possibilities and hypotheses. Evidence, however, turns these possibilities into fact. Believe me when I say I take no pleasure in implicating Manny Steele for these crimes. However, without proof of a third party.
The evidence implicates him! I'm sure this court decides evidence. Stop wasting our time!
The prosecution is correct in their assertions. The time for talk is over. Either present evidence to the court or drop this defense.
Evidence of a third party? Of course, such evidence does exist, but I'm hesitant to show it. We could risk everything I've been trying to do up until now. Am I really willing to go that far? No, I won't back down. I've come this far. I can't falter now. All I need to do today is get the trial to where I need it to be. Everything happened exactly how I described it to Mr. Steele in the lounge earlier. What I need to focus on now is trying to link the case of larceny to the case that happened 13 years ago. To do that, I need to draw more information from Mr. Edgeworth. If I can get enough info out in the open about what happened, an opportunity may just present itself. Because in the blackmail letter?
Objection!
I knew this evidence would come up at some point. I just knew it. But I didn't know that it would be now, in this way. What to do will risk everything I've been trying to accomplish. But there's no backing down now. I've got to stick to the plan, prove the existence of a third party, and get Vera on the stand. By any means necessary. Put on a happy face, Aiden. It's justice time. Miles Edgeworth. You claim that nobody involved with the 13-year-old case was involved in this larceny. Are you so sure that's really true? If they were, surely there'll be evidence linking to them. But surely you know yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. Sometimes evidence can just come flying out at the last minute, can't it? Are you saying, Mr. Gambit, that you found evidence to indict a third party?
Objection! Pay the boy no heed, Mr. Edgeworth. That's obviously a bluff. It's the great fake Phoenix Wright would laugh at.
You'd like that, wouldn't you, Mr. Payne? Unfortunately for you, this is no bluff. I've been one step ahead of you the entire time. The evidence that proves the existence of a third party is this!
Defense, what exactly is this?
This, Your Honor, is a blackmail letter. My client received this letter a few days before the crime. It was sent by someone who called themselves the Spirit of Seething. What they were trying to blackmail my client about connects to a certain case.
You can't mean...
Yes, my client was blackmailed to take the fall for this crime, but a Spirit of Seething who was connected to the case 13 years ago.
Objection! It's absurd! A blackmail letter by a ghost? I thought we already went over this fact. Ghosts aren't real! Why are you suggesting such ridiculous claims?
Yes. A blackmail letter from a ghost is rather hard to buy.
Hang on, I'm not saying the ghosts are real. I don't believe in ghosts either, you know. The spirit of seething isn't actually a literal spirit. Rather, based off of the evidence we have, I believe they are someone who was deeply affected by the assassination case. Someone who wanted to take revenge on those who were part of that case.
Goodness gracious. You're saying the spirit of seething is someone involved in your case? Then, who could it possibly be?
Of course I know the real entity of the spirit of seething, because it's me. But to implicate them is an action I hesitate to even think about. A word of advice for the council. At times like these, you must throw away all hesitations you have. If you truly know the answer to this puzzle, the truth must come first and foremost. Very well. He's right, of course. Like I said, there's no backing out of this now. Your Honour, the real identity of the spirit of seething is... Corey Rupture Manisteel, the child. It has to be the child. My hands are shaking. My eyesight is fading. Knees weak, arms are heavy. Vomit on his sweater already. Or vomit on his vest already. Mom's spaghetti. It feels like 1,000 degrees. I admit it. I'm scared. I feel like I know what's going to happen the moment I try to argue this point. I'm backed into a corner. No matter what, I must keep this trial going my way. Or the highway. Your Honour.
Yes, defense.
There's only one person who can be the spirit of seething. Everything we've heard in previous testimony makes it all clear. There was one person tied to the case 13 years ago. One person with a motive to frame my client. One person. I'm supposed to do one person. 0 out of 10. Who lost everything when Manisteel lost the case.
You can't possibly mean...
I do, Your Honour. The real identity of the spirit of seething was the key witness of the case. The young child who saw their parents being murdered. Objection! This is absurd! Who could possibly have given you the idea?
Well, what are you doing, Gambit? Don't you know that by implicating the child...
Somehow I knew you'd react like this, Steele. But I can't let you get in the way of my plans now. Not when justice is so close. Mr. Steele, you told me earlier in the lobby that you've already put your trust in me. I'm asking you now to trust me when it's most important.
Aiden. Order! Mr. Steele returns to the defendant's chair. Mr. Gambit, this is a heavy accusation to make. What's your line of reasoning to suspect the key witness of this 13-year-old case?
It's actually very simple, Your Honour. If you would think back to the testimony given by Mr. Edgeworth, there was a key witness who was vital in the court proceedings. This witness was nearly assassinated. Thankfully, Mr. Steele had got on quite quick to the assassination attempt, and he managed to save the witness from almost certain doom. If not for his actions, there would have been another victim in this tragedy. It's this important piece of testimony that is crucial to identifying the spirit of seething. It once for all proves that the other child who was the key witness 13 years ago. Objection! How? How does the defendant saving the child's life prove that they were the blackmailer? I want to bet you don't have a shred of evidence to... Once again, Mr. Payne, your inability to see what's right in front of you astounds me. Why not try reading the letter for yourself and see what I mean? Why not? I'm nothing if not accommodating. To the one who saved my life. What is the meaning of this? It should be fairly obvious, Mr. Payne. The movie is still out. The key witness and the blackmailer both had their lives saved by the defendant. I would hardly call that a coincidence.
Steele isn't saying anything. He's not objecting at all to what I just said. That means he trusts me. Maybe I can pull this off after all.
I believe we once again need the defendant to clarify this matter for us. Is what the defendant said true? Are you being blackmailed?
It's true, Your Honor. A few days ago, I received a typed letter in the mail. There was very clear and specific instructions for me to follow. But I refused. I don't have anything that could be held over my head. Nothing that I would already hold myself accountable for. I accepted a long time ago that I'm a failure as a prosecutor. It was all I could do to try and keep the case from the blackmailer's hands, by any means necessary. It seems this is a rather damning truth to be uncovered. This key witness from years past has suddenly become a suspect. As such, I must ask that our Chief Prosecutor provide one more piece of information about the assassination case from years past. The identity of the child from that horrid case so long ago. Very well. His name was Jonathan Seething. He was the key witness for the trial of the murders of Melissa and Jonas Seething.
Those names!
I'm not surprised that you recognize those names, Your Honor. More importantly, this also ties back to the blackmail letter. The spirit of Seething being John Seething makes too much sense.
So there can be no question about it then. Miss Edgeworth, where is John Seething now?
We do not know, Your Honor.
What do you mean?
Seething was wounded after surviving his assassination attempt. He had to stay in that hospital to heal from his wounds. But after the trial, John Seething disappeared. Which adds evidence to my theory that he's actually Aiden Gambit. And I take it you have yet to find him. Well, you would know if I'm right. I'm sorry if Aiden, if I'm accusing you of being the mastermind prematurely, but you know, I just kind of have a feeling. It goes beyond that, I feel. This boy has been missing for about 13 years, meaning
John Seething has been presumed dead.
Precisely. In that sense, calling him a spirit is perhaps hitting a bit too close to home. Even so, the defense does not reverse their claims. We still claim that John Seething is alive and well. Moreover, he was the one who sent the defendant that blackmail letter.
Unfortunately, that is going to be difficult to prove. Jonathan Seething has been missing for well over the 7-year period, presumed dead. If there was some evidence to prove he was blackmailing the defendant, I fear it may be irrelevant.
Irrelevant?
We are listening to the testimony the defendant gave earlier. Mr. Steele said something rather interesting earlier. So then it shoots the defendant's theory in the foot.
A few days ago, I received a typed letter in the mail. There were very clear and specific instructions for me to follow. But I refused. It was all I could do to try and keep the case from the blackmailer's hands, by any means necessary. But that's...
You see it now, don't you? It doesn't matter one bit who wrote that letter, because you refused to follow its instructions. Absolutely none of the defendant's actions could be considered under duress. I mean, there's no proof of a third party. Nah.
Order! Order in the court! It seems, in the end, the defense's blackmailing theory does not hold up to scrutiny. As such, I'm afraid we cannot accept this new evidence. The current whereabouts of Jonathan Seething, and if he is truly still alive,
are irrelevant. No, I can't let it end here. I have to get better understand what I'm done for. Hold on, the defense isn't done. The third party did make the way into the office that day.
Objection! I assume you have evidence to back that up beyond a letter with no relevance? Face it, Rookie, it's over. You have no way of proving how third party entered the office that night. Meanwhile, the prosecution has been doing their research. You know for a fact that there's no way for a third party to break in. How do you, Chief Prosecutor, contest the legitimacy of the prosecution's claims?
May I ask why it's so impossible to break in, Mr. Edgeworth?
Your Honor, there are a number of security measures in place preventing a break-in. If it pleases the court, I can testify about these security measures in greater detail.
Then please do so at once, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will accept further testimony about the nature of these security measures.
This is the last chance I'm getting. If I can't prove that there was someone else who broke in that day... Well, we're going to have to call it there for now. Yeah, thanks for watching. I have my theories so far, but this seems... We still don't know how Vera ties into everything. Be interested to find that out. This trial is going to somehow relate to the jury system, according to Phoenix, and well, it hasn't really gone crazy yet. So we're going to see how crazy it's going to get next time, whenever that is. Because again, I'm recording this on the verge of what might be another image apocalypse. This case doesn't seem to have been using Imgur images, so that's why we're able to record this one, not Lighthouse of Lunacy. If there are any delays, then I'll be using this one in place of a weekly upload, and if not, we'll be seeing more of this next week. So yeah, see ya. Bye.